G'day there everyone, welcome to Movie Studio Zen. My name's Derek. In today's tutorial I'm going to teach you how to render high quality video from Vegas Pro into Handbrake. Because this is going to be a very long and technical tutorial, I have placed quick links in the YouTube description, so if you need to go back and check a particular step, you can do that easily. This is definitely an advanced tutorial, so if you're a beginner, I really don't recommend you even begin to try and do this. I have written a full article on the Movie Studio Zen website with all the download links to all the different programs and scripts that you'll need to complete this special workflow. The link's below in the description box. Now I can't take credit for this tutorial. Where I learnt this originally was on a website called vegasvideo.de in Germany, but in the last 12 months, for some reason, that website has gone. So that resource is no longer available. But I have a copy of that. Now, the other problem is that with the newer versions of Vegas Pro, the original scripts, original programs, no longer work properly. But they will work correctly if you do some clever editing. And all those instructions will be in this tutorial. So, final thing is I thank that original website vegasvideo.de for creating this tutorial, and I also thank on the official Vegas Pro forums Marco and Nick, because they're the two people that I sourced all the special edits from to get this workflow working, so thank you to them as well. I can't stress enough how important it is for everyone that wants to do this tutorial to read everything that I've said in the article. It will answer all of your questions. First simple question I'm going to answer is this: what is Handbrake and why render video with it? So the advantage is, well, Handbrake is a video transcoding program. It's an open source program, so it doesn't cost anything, it's free. And it uses the X264 video encoder. Now, the advantage of using Handbrake over one of the included Vegas Pro encoders, like Main Concept or Magic ABC, is that Handbrake has a lot of advanced settings. So if you're trying to encode really tricky types of video, say video that has a lot of fast moving action, lots of different colors, and it's ending up very blocky, then Handbrake may be a better encoder to use. Now, the technical name for what we're actually trying to do is called frame serving. So frame serving is a process by which you directly transfer video data from one program into another. So in this case, we're transferring video data from Vegas Pro directly into Handbrake. So instead of rendering with Vegas Pro, we're telling Vegas Pro to render with this outside program called Handbrake. Now, I do have a little warning here. This is just to cover my ass, because sometimes people do silly things. You're about to install lots of small little programs and lots of little scripts, and if you do something wrong, I'm not responsible for that. So I highly recommend you do a backup of your computer before you start, and also create a Windows restore point. So in the unlikely event that you do something silly, you can take your computer back in time and everything will be sweet. Step 1. So step 1 is to download and install Handbrake. So go to the article and you'll find a download link, press it. That opens up to the official Handbrake website. Handbrake is a free open source video transcoder. I think most people in the Vegas community consider this to be one of the best, if not the best, video converters that you can use, because it produces very good quality well, actually superior quality video. So press that big red button and you'll get a surprise in your download box. That should only take a few seconds to download. Now you can install that directly from Google Chrome. If you're using something from another planet, then you'll probably find the program in Downloads folder. Do a double click to install it. I'm not going to do that because I've already got it installed. Once you've got it installed, we'll be ready for step 2. Step 2, configure handbrake preference settings. So find where handbrake is, turn the program on, boot it up, click that cancel button, then go back to the Movie Studio Zen website and just position the program right next door so you can read the instructions. So we're going to go to Tools, Preferences, General tab, and make sure when done is set to quit handbrake. Then go to Output Files, set automatically name output files, make sure there's a tick there. Now you can also set the default output pathway. Now this is going to be different for everyone, so you set it to the folder that you want your rendered videos to be saved to. There's also a file format setting here. I recommend probably just leaving it as is, but if you want to do something different, that's up to you. And down the bottom here, we've got MP4 file extension. Make sure it's always use MP4. That's it. Click back and close the program. Step 2 is completed. Now, to learn how to customize the settings in Handbrake requires more time and patience. I'm not going to talk about that in this particular tutorial. So next week, I will upload my own video about this. So if it's way in the future, it's already sitting there. I'll have a link in this article already. But for eager beavers who want to get started, I've placed here a few good resources for learning how to use Handbrake. So there's the actual official Handbrake website that's got a manual. So it opens up here, select that, and there's all the instruction manual there. You can go through, look at that yourself. There's also different websites that have various guides. There's a good YouTube video. So go through all that, and that'll give you a good understanding of the basics of the program. Step 4, install debug mode frame server. Once again, press the download link in my article. And here there will be 2 different versions you can select from. So if you're using Vegas Pro 13, 14, 15, or something way in the future, then download the 2.5 version. If you're using Vegas Pro 12 or older, select the 2.4 version. So I'm selecting the 2.5 version. Go back to the article here. Now, pay attention. So if you're using Vegas Pro 12, you can just install the version 2.4 with no modifications. Just go through and do whatever it says. It'll be fine. If you're using Vegas Pro 13, install the 2.15 version, and also don't make any modifications. Just go through stock standard installation. If you're using Vegas Pro 14 or 15, you need to make a small modification in the installation file. So I'll show you what to do. So we'll double click to get the install going. I agree, yes. Next. Next. And this is the only bit you need to change. So I'll go back to my article. so you can see. So for Vegas Pro 14 users, we're going to replace the Sony with Vegas and change the number to 14. Then click the install button. If you're using Vegas Pro 15, the Vegas is the same, just change the number. If you're watching this tutorial way in the future and it's up to, I don't know, Vegas Pro 20, then obviously you'll be typing in 20 at this point. Then click install and it's done in a few seconds. I've already got it installed, so I'm just going to cancel that. And that means step 4 is completed. Step 5, configuring preferences for debug mode frame server. So for this step, we're going to be opening up the version of Vegas Pro that you currently are using, the one that you configured in the previous step. We'll be looking at the Render As window, and then secondly, we'll be configuring some settings in the actual frame server setup. So I'm using Vegas Pro 15 for my test. Just drag any old thing to the timeline, it's not important. Then go File, Render As, and if you installed the frame server correctly, you'll find on the fourth setting here, a fourth format, you'll see Debug Mode Frame Server. Select it, also select Project Default, then click Render, and set video output and the format to RGB32, and also select Write Audio as PCM samples in Signpost AVI. Then click Next, and now it's configured, and then we press Stop Serving. Click Close, and step 5 has been completed. Step 6, install AVI Synth. In the original tutorial, they were using an older version of AVI Synth. So I've tested it with this newer version and everything seems to be working perfectly okay. So press the download link. Well, it's not a download link, it's a link to a web page. It's June 2018 and I'm downloading the 2.6.0 version. So just press the green button. And just wait a few seconds. And before we start installing, just going to go back to the instructions. Okay, so I'll do a double click. Yes. And yes, we'll do English. And I'll just pull up my website. Yes, I agree. And yeah, and here where it says select the type of install, make sure it's set to standard, exactly as is. You don't need those extra files as far as I know. Just do it as is, click next, and I'm not going to go any further because I've already got it installed. Just click install and everything should be sweet as a nut. Step 7, install Pismo File Mount Audit Package. Go to pismotech.com. Okay, so let's do that. And so yeah, there's lots of stuff here. Just scroll down just a tiny bit. And in this first section here, we're going to select Download Windows File Install Package. Another tiny file. Let's go back to my website. And this one's an easy one. We just install this program exactly as is. There's nothing tricky you have to do. Step 8, download FrameServer scripts. So the script files you're about to download were originally created by vegasvideo.de. This is the website, as I mentioned before, which has shut down, no longer exists. So what I did, because they're no longer on the original web server, I've got my own copy and I've uploaded it to the Movie Studio Zen server. So just click the link and that will download immediately. And it's a zip file, so we need to unzip it. So go to your downloads folder, locate the file, right click and select extract all. Extract. That opens everything up. And in here we've got 2 folders and 2 text files, as you can see right on the screen there. Let's go back to my instructions, because this is where things start to get a little bit interesting. And look at that, we're at step 9, installing FrameServer scripts. So this is where, once again, the instructions are going to be different depending on which exact version of Vegas Pro you are using. So let's start off. If you're a Vegas Pro 13 user, let's find the information for those people. Let's go to local disk C, program files, Sony. Remember, this is for Vegas Pro 13 users. Vegas Pro 13. And here you'll find a folder that says script menu. Open it up. Makes this window a little smaller. So what you need to do is, now I'm going to go back to my downloads folder. Let's get organized here. So yeah, we're Vegas Pro 13, script menu folder. You're going to drag, import FrameServer scripts folder directly into the script menu folder, and then you're done. Now if you're using Vegas Pro 14 or 15, go back to program files, find the Vegas folder, and then open up the version of Vegas that you're using. Locate the script menu folder again and drag FrameServer _ scripts into that folder. And you're done. So that's the first part of step 9. Now, be careful not to skip this install. We're still in step 9, but there's a part 2. We need to drag the FrameServer folder into your C drive. So it's this folder here, FrameServer. So go to your C drive. I've already done mine, as you can see. Let's just reposition this. So this is the local disk C drive, and just drag FrameServer directly into C drive. And you must install it there, otherwise it will not work. Then once you've completed that, you have definitely completed all the steps in step 9. There's a tiny notation. This is from the original documentation. This whole process is assuming that you're outputting progressive style video, which is what the vast majority of people would be doing in 2018. If you're using interlaced video and are wanting to output interlaced video, then just read these instructions and you have to make a small modification. Okay, step 10, modifying script files for Vegas Pro 14 and 15. So this step is only necessary for people that are using Vegas Pro 14 or 15. If you're using Vegas Pro 13, you don't have to worry about this step. You can actually skip it. Before you continue, it might be an idea to open up a beer or make a nice cup of tea, because we have been going for a little bit. Once you've got your drink there, let's continue. So I've got here step 10.1. So now you've got to be very accurate with what you're doing, because we're about to edit an actual script file. And now if you're an advanced user, you might know cool things to do, but I'm just going to show you the method that I do. We're going to use Windows Notepad to do the editing, but we need to run it as the administrator. Otherwise, Windows will not allow us to save these changes because they're part of a program file. So go to your Windows Start button, type Notepad, and do a right click and select Run as Administrator. Yes. Okay. And what do we want to locate? So we need to find this folder here. So if you're using Vegas Pro 14, we'll go File, Open, C Drive, Program Files, Vegas Pro 14, Script Menu, Frame Server Scripts, and then you'll see this blank page. Don't freak out. Go to the bottom here and set this setting to all files. The file we need to adjust is the first one here, send to handbrake.js. So just do a double click. It's open. And it's pretty simple. In the second line, it'll say import sony.vegas. Copy this down here, and then paste it over the top. So the new line of code says import scriptportal.vegas semicolon, then go File, Save. And I'll do an exit. And if you are using Vegas Pro 15, do the exact same thing. Now that's the first step in step 10. Now there's a second file that we need to adjust. Now this adjustment comes about because of changes that have been made to the Handbrake program. So if you're using a version of Handbrake that is lower than version 1, you probably don't have to do this step. But I would imagine that everybody would be using the latest version of Handbrake. So what we're going to do is, where are we? Back to search bar, Notepad, do a right click, run as administrator. Yes. Let's find this file. File, open, C drive, frame server, batch. Set this to all files again. And the second file here, just do a double click. And the part that we need to change is right down the bottom here. I'll just reposition this so you can see it more clearly. So I've already changed mine, obviously. So where are we here? So right down at the very bottom, there's a section that starts :HB start. And before it's modified, this line here will say start handbrake C volumes Vegas AVS Vegas AVI. We're going to replace that line with this line here. Start call C program handbrake C volumes Vegas Vegas. So just copy that, highlight it all, copy, go to that line and paste it in and save it. And you're done. So that is all of step 10 completed. That was a very important step for getting this to work. So drum roll, we have now reached the final step in setting up this process, step 11, adding script shortcuts to Vegas Pro. So I'm opening up Vegas. Now, the Vegas will probably automatically scan this for you, but so if you go to Tools, Scripting, if it's already there, you'll see it about halfway down. If you don't see anything, don't freak out. Just press the Rescan Script Menu Folder button there, and then it will appear. Now, if you'd like to add a shortcut to your Vegas toolbar, just go to Options, Customize Toolbar, and I've already done mine, so yours will look a bit different. But if you scroll down, you'll find Send to Handbrake Unmount on this side. Just click on each one, add, sends it across to here, click Close, and then you're ready to rock and roll. Now, there is one final thing before we do our first test. I basically copied and pasted this from the original article. Now, I had not experienced this problem, but I just put it in there in case you do. In the frame server folder that we installed into the C drive, it contains two little .exe programs, and some virus scanners may pick them up and go, what's this? So if that happens, there's instructions here on how to just add that to like a safe program list in your virus scanner. Other than that, that's it. You've reached the end, and only thing left to do is to do a test. Okay, so now the hard part's out of the way. We're ready to do our first test of Vegas to Handbrake. So before we go and try and do some elaborate project, let's just do a little quick test video. Can be anything, doesn't matter. So I'm just gonna do a 10-second, roughly 10 seconds. Oh, it's precisely 10 seconds. And next thing to know is this. You need to add a 1-second buffer to the end of your timeline to correct an audio bug of the frame server. So with the frame server, there is a problem that's been there for a few years. Everyone's been hoping that someone that knows what they're doing can fix this. But you have to do something special at the end of each project if you want to render it with Handbrake. Otherwise your audio will get screwed up. So the trick that I do is to create a loop region. So wherever the end of your project is, locate it with the Vegas timeline cursor. Take a note of the time, and whatever it says, we want to add exactly 1 second. Not a frame more, not a frame less. So in this example, it's going to be precisely 11 seconds. Press M for marker, and then drag out a loop region that goes all the way from 0 past the end of your project and includes that extra 1 second. And doing that will mean that the project actually renders correctly, as if it actually did end at this point right here. So let's just save that before we go any further. Yep. And we're ready to rock. So cross fingers, press the Send to Handbrake button in your toolbar. Yep, we want to run it. And at this point, be very patient, okay? Depending on your computer, you might have, there's a little delay. Just let the command prompt window go through all its processes. And now Handbrake is scanning the project. And of course it was only 10 seconds, that was very quick. But for a normal project, that little quick scan you saw, that can last quite a few minutes. That's perfectly normal. And then once it's finished scanning, the only thing left to do before you start the encode, set the settings that you want to use in Handbrake. Now there's tons of different presets here, which you can explore yourself. Next week I will upload my own beginner's guide to using the settings in Handbrake, but that's a week away. Remember in the tutorial that I did have some links here at step 3. There are some resources which you can go and check out. But just basically, let's select this simple fast 1080p, and I know my project was this is another important thing. Make sure you get your frame rate. Actually, I'm getting ahead of myself. Just stop. So I'm selecting that. Dimensions, 1920 by 1080. Filters, don't worry about filters for this test. Video. Now I know my frame rate is 30, so that's good. One thing you do want to change is set the frame rate to constant. We'll talk about this next week, all these settings. This is probably one of the main sections that you would look at, as is what level of encoding you want to do. I've got audio, what audio type we're going to render to. Subtitles, there's no subtitles in this, so I'm just going to clear that out. And I really don't want any chapters, so I'm just going to click that off. And we're ready to rock. So let's press start encode. Okay, I did a test before this, so that's why that's coming up. So I'll click yes. And you can see here, that's where my video is going to be saved to. Preparing to encode. It's only 10 seconds, but I'll come back to you as soon as that's finished. Okay, so at the end here, it's just saying that unless I do anything, Handbrake is going to quit. So I am going to quit the program. And then, there we go, we wait for the little beep. It's automatically dismounting. Don't worry about that little error thing. There is one tiny error in, I think, the script file that somebody that's smarter than me needs to fix. So you should so to get out of this final window, just press exit, and everything's cool. Now, if you do experience any problems, or you want to abort, then obviously you can press this unmount button here. And if anything really gets locked up, I mean, just do what you would do for anything and just get out of Vegas and reboot your computer. But that's it. Sort of feels weird now. I've gone through this really long tutorial, got to the end, and it feels like a bit of an anticlimax because everything's actually working. So there you go. That is the Vegas Pro to Handbrake tutorial workflow. Next week I will release my Handbrake tutorial. So thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and I'll see you next week. Bye.